Hello, and welcome to Around the Political World with John Rothman. I am your host, John Rothman. If you're a fan of the show, make sure to hit the follow button on the top right of Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you are listening at this very moment. When you hit follow, leave a review or share an episode with a friend. It helps other people discover the show, keeps us going, and as I like to remind you each and every day, it expands our base. Hypocrisy. I want to talk to you about hypocrisy. Wait. Hypocrisy and politics. Maybe they go hand in hand. Nikki Haley has decided that she will vote for Donald Trump for president of the United States. It's amazing. I sat yesterday when she made the announcement and pulled up all of the things that she said about Donald Trump. I don't understand how a person who feels so passionately that Donald Trump is unfit to be president of the United States can then turn around and endorse him. Oh, wait, I do understand. You know what it is. It's ambition. You remember that line from Julius Caesar? Ambition should be made of sterner stuff. Well, Nikki Haley basically has decided to bank everything on her political future. Understand, it's a win-win for Nikki Haley. If Donald Trump wins, she might be in a position to have a position. If Donald Trump loses, she might be the clear frontrunner for 2028. By endorsing Trump, she has neutralized those in the Trump camp who are angry at her. And if, as I'm sure she hopes, Donald Trump puts his arm around her and embraces her as a surrogate, why, she's going to be in great shape. For Nikki Haley, this was the logical thing to do. For Nikki Haley, it was the right thing to do. But was it the right thing to do for the country? Was it the right thing to do for the Republican Party? Would it have been better to battle Donald Trump and his pernicious ideas? Well, I'm sure she thought about that. But you know what really rankled me? She said she has faith in Donald Trump's vision of the world, that he'll stand by our allies. And of course, that isn't true. Donald Trump is threatening to withdraw from NATO. Donald Trump is kowtowing to Vladimir Putin. Donald Trump has been absolutely horrific on so many international issues where Nikki Haley shined as ambassador to the United Nations. I guess I have to reconcile myself to the fact that there is a lot of hypocrisy in politics. Oh, speaking of hypocrisy, I watched CNN last night and an interview with Ted Cruz. That's right, the senator from Texas. Do you remember that just like Nikki Haley and her husband, do you remember Trump deprecated Nikki Haley's husband? Even that can be forgiven. But do you remember in the case of Ted Cruz, the blast at his father, accusing his father of being part of the conspiracy to kill John F. Kennedy? Do you remember all that? And you know what? Ted Cruz was defending Donald Trump last night. Ted Cruz was doing exactly what Nikki Haley is doing, defending Donald Trump, the expression kissing the ring. It is the ultimate in hypocrisy. Now, I understand politics. I understand all kinds of games are played. I understand that yesterday's enemy may be tomorrow's friend. I understand all of that. But what bothers me is that both Cruz and Haley have not gone after Trump as much on policy as they have on his dishonesty, his fundamental hypocrisy. Where is that standard that rises to a level that you have faith in a Nikki Haley or a Ted Cruz? And I have to tell you, all faith in either one of them is gone. This is a matter which the Republican Party will have to deal with. They will have to rebuild from the ashes of the Donald Trump catastrophe, and I believe it is. And now, did you hear the next little item? They're suggesting that in New York, there is election corruption, and that Donald Trump could carry New York, except for the Democratic machine, which opposes him. And, well, you get this general drift, don't you? The idea that we are setting ourselves up in 2024 for challenges in states throughout the Union, including New York. There is something essential about the American democratic system. Even when we believe an injustice is done, and last night Ted Cruz talked about 1876, the campaign by Samuel J. Tilden and Rutherford B. Hayes, ultimately decided in Hayes's favor by one vote, 185 to 184 in the Electoral College. And of course, we have the case of Al Gore in 2000, where, again, there were real doubts about election credibility. But in the end, whether it was 1876 or the year 2000, the American people came together and accepted a result, even if they may not have thought the result was perfect. But listening to Ted Cruz last night, and listening to what they're saying about the New York vote in 2024, and listening to Donald Trump's own words, saying he may not accept the result because unless he wins, it's not valid, one can only scratch one's head and worry about the future of American democracy. I know American democracy is a central theme of Joe Biden's campaign, the preservation of democracy. He believes that this is a key moment, that we are, in the words of Theodore Roosevelt, standing at Armageddon, and the future of America hangs in the balance. I know that is election hyperbolic language, but I believe it's true in this election. I read the Time magazine story about what if Donald Trump wins the election, and I read Donald Trump's own quotes. This is a time of sober reflection by all of us who love the American system. And may I say that even though we want success in politics, sacrificing our own moral compass, as Nikki Haley and yes, Ted Cruz have done, is very distressing. I do not believe that honesty and politics need to be at odds. I believe you can proceed ethically, and I wish the Republican Party would come to that realization. To argue for Donald Trump, as Nikki Haley will now have to do, well, I hope all of her words during the campaign are broadcast repeatedly so that people understand what Nikki Haley believed and that she was willing to sacrifice it all on the altar of future ambition. What a shame. Thanks for tuning into another episode of Around the Political World. I am John Rothman. Make sure to follow along and let me know your thoughts on the show by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts and sharing an episode with a friend or colleague so we can continue to grow and expand. I want to point out that you can follow me and interact with me on Facebook and LinkedIn. And to the wonderful producer of this podcast, Go-Go Zoger, thanks for making sure that Around the Political World with John Rothman is up and running each and every day. And frankly, I can't wait for tomorrow. See you then.